So now, before I actually go into the history concerning our people and the plight that we're facing, just so you know that I'm not another nut on the internet, okay? When I named myself General Kenyatta, I did so because I recognized that we were in a state of war. And any general, okay, has to understand the strategies of war. Physically, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, economically, these things must be understood by a general. You might say, where's my troops? Guess what? They all out there. And don't even know it. So let's begin this, first of all, by going through some works that I think are very important. This is obviously going to take up another video. And one of the other reasons why I'm also doing this is so that the listening and viewing audience will understand that I have spent well over 25 years not reading, researching, and studying not only the works of the greatest European, Asian, Oriental, and African scholars on this side of the Atlantic and the other side of the Atlantic. I spent well over 25 years not reading their materials, but researching and studying their materials. And then, after I studied the materials, I began to study the author as well, just as a means of understanding if they had any subconscious issues going on that might have dictated how they did their studies. You see? So first of all, let's begin with this here is entitled The Classic Slave Narratives. Here, because a lot of us don't and haven't researched, because maybe it hurts too much, possibly, what our people have gone through during the process of slavery. This is entitled Law in America by Lawrence Freedman. We live in America. America has been manipulating us by its man-made laws, which unfortunately the majority of us are ignorant of. Must have both if you're going to understand the European train of thought and how he manipulates his judicial system to the detriment and death of our people. Slave religion, the invisible institution of the antebellum South. I knew that our people, when they came to America, wasn't no Christians. Whole bunch of them wasn't Muslims. So what were they? What did they practice? We've never researched it. In fact, history reveals that they rebelled against Christianity for the first 200 years they was here. Now, why would African people rebel against Christianity for the first 200 years they were here if they were Christians when they left Africa? Not so. But we're going to get the chance to go through all of that. Another good work by I.E. Quayama entitled 2000 Seasons. Excellent work if we're going to understand how we were made different. You see, because when I speak about history, I can't leave nobody out. A spade is a spade. The European did his dirt. So did the Arabs. Because the Arabs have the longest slave trade, lasting over 1,500 years, and hasn't stopped as of today. But nobody speaks about that. Oh, we're going to get through all of this. This is entitled The Africans by David Lamb. In America, Garvey and Garveyism. You also need to read The Opinions and Philosophies of Marcus Garvey. Excellent works. So that we can understand the black movements that took place, what we were going through, what the solutions were that he was working with at the time, and the forces that he was up against. Because our own people in America, the House Negro, as Brother Malcolm would say, turned him in to the white government in America. Because here was a black man trying to get us to be about ourselves. Okay? This is entitled The Wisdom of Martin Luther King. He was more than I have a dream. And that's something we'll find out in the end also. One of the things we'll also find out throughout the course of time is that Brother Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were moving like this towards each other. And the European government in America saw that and couldn't afford for that to take place. For those just beginning to study African history, I first advise this excellent work here by John G. Jackson entitled Introduction to African Civilization. Okay? Excellent, excellent work. It's a must. All these materials and books I'm showing you, like I said, are by the top notch, the best in their fields. But unfortunately, this isn't what we're given in school. And you will not study these books in college because Europeans make sure that you have a set curriculum. Because the purpose has never been to educate you, okay, but to keep us domesticated as a means of supporting and reinforcing the system that they structured for their survival, not ours. This is a work, this is volume 3. This is a reference library, okay, of Black America. 3 volumes. Who's who did what was the movements about. Many people, many names in there that we just aren't aware of, and we're going to learn over time. Let me move on. European Scholar, 1800s, The Origin and Evolution of Religions by Albert Churchwood. This is A Secret History of the World by Mark Booth. Okay? Because please don't think that they're going to take everything they knew and everything that they extracted from our people and just put it in general books for us to read. No. They're a little bit more cunning than that. This is Wallace Budge's. There we go. This is Egyptian Hieroglyphic Dictionary. In our culture, it's not called hieroglyphs. They're called the Meduneta. It was the Greeks who called them hieroglyphs. But I can't trust Europeans to interpret everything for me and say that this means this and that means that. So I have to study the language myself. And this comes in 2 volumes. Very, very, very big books here. All on our language in ancient Kemet, which we will be discussing too. I got about 30 something seconds here before I got to start this next video. This one here is the Egyptian Book of the Dead, or the Book of Coming Forth by Day and by Night. also known by our ancestors as the Pertum Haru. This one here is by Dr. Mu'ata Ashby, which I was very glad to see do.